Hello, I'm ClaireMaries Boggiano, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about breaking eggs, joining dots, and building gladiators. And the reason why this is the title of my talk is because it's sort of the only thing I can do. When I look back over my career, I've been doing these three things anywhere I go, it just happens. So I'm trying to harness this in a positive way. So the breaking eggs is about creating change. A manager once said to me, "ClaireMaries, you're great at breaking eggs. Go over there and break some." And I could not believe my luck, because I'd been getting into so much trouble about breaking eggs before that. And he was able to reframe that and help me use it in a positive way. The joining dots, making connections. I mean, I'm like a junkie. You and him and that and this room and that flip chart. Go over there and have ideas. Always making connections. I just love doing it. And the building gladiators. Okay, yes, it was at the time of the movie and Russell Crowe. I was inspired. But actually, what I love doing is working with people and helping them get it. And you know when you see it in their eyes and then they want to go and do a thing? And then they go out, hopefully feeling like a gladiator or Amazon, and make it so. So I'm really hoping that after not only this session, but the whole of today, that's how you're going to feel when you go out and do the thing, whatever your thing is. So one thought I want to start with is this. So it's about, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And again, let's build these gladiators, let's join all the dots, and let's send them out there to go far, breaking as many eggs as they can. A little bit about me, about my background. It's a bit of a bingo card, actually. You can probably tell I'm not from these parts, though I have been in the Greater Manchester area for over 30 years. So this is my Mancunian accent. This is as good as it's going to get. I know. So I'm from the north of Ireland, from a quiet little place called Belfast. And I came first here to study electrical and electronic engineering. So I can break things. And I'm a chartered engineer, so I can break them properly so they'll never work again. And I went into corporate life for about 10 years. I actually went into engineering insurance. So found myself in financial services. Nobody grows up wanting to do that in marketing. And had a fabulous time. Worked hard, maybe partied harder. Spent time in the London market. Spent time doing a lot of e-business for that organisation and .com stuff. And in fact, one of the things that we spun out was an estate agency business, Rightmove. And it's still really exciting to see that and use that today. And then I took the head staggers. I always thought I wanted to run a business, but I didn't know if it was my business or somebody else's business. And I thought, whatever the answer to that is, I should learn about business. And that led me on a roll to do an MBA, and I set up my own business, and then I found out I was pregnant. Not so good project management, but I learned a lot about myself. And I learned that I love change, and I specialised in change. And then I've worked with large corporate companies, I've worked with smaller high-growth companies, and I've worked with the private sector. And really exciting. And then other hobby stuff. I'm very passionate about women in business and women in leadership and women and girls in STEM. So I have a lot of hobbies on the side there of women in boards and Queen Bee coaching. So that's a little bit about me. But why I show this is because this is not a career ladder. Yeah, it's like a career bingo card or playground. I've heard it described recently as a playground. You want to go and play that bit, and then you want to play that bit. And I think that's a really healthy way to look at your career. So let's get into a few more ideas here. Joining dots. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to fling a load of dots at you, and you're going to choose which ones you want. You pick up your own dots. I don't want to force it on you. And I think the magic happens when you connect the dots. Yeah? And here's some examples. You can draw them in nice straight lines and with all little decision trees and things like that. Or, which artist here took the same dots and made a cat? Like, I still can't believe they're the same dots. Can you? So again, how you join your dots is up to you. change. Now, I've said I'm good at breaking things and I'm good at change. Thankfully, I just have to stand beside something now and it ends up changing, so I have to choose where I stand beside. And we have these preconceived ideas. People think change is difficult, and it may be, but actually not changing is fatal. And as a species, I actually think we're brilliant at change. I didn't say we liked it, but I think we're very good at it, and I think it's something we've demonstrated over the last 2 years. Boy, can we pivot if it's an existential threat, yeah? So let's think about the change that's coming at us. Some of you may recognize this cartoon. It came out very early, I think it might have been March 2020, on some of the waves of change that may be hitting us. So we've got that first one there, COVID, and we responded very well to that. And then behind that, you can see a recession of change, and that's not the big problem. There's a bigger wave, a bigger tsunami coming behind that, climate change, and we're starting to literally feel that on the ground at the moment. And then biodiversity collapse. So I don't know if anybody else is terrified yet, but there's a lot coming at us, yeah? But actually, I take heart in what happened over the last 2 years, because I think we've demonstrated how good we are at change. I actually have hope from it. As I said, it needs to be a bit existential for us to really get our act together, but we can do it when we need to. Who's heard of VUCA? Who's heard of VUCA? This is a concept, I can see 1 or 2 hands up. This is a concept I've been talking about with clients and leaders for years. Like a concept, a lovely wee concept. Things are volatile and unpredictable. Things are uncertain. You can't really tell what's going to happen next. Or they're complex, so it's more than one thing that's going on at a time and they're intertwined. And they're ambiguous. You can't always predict the impact of what you've decided to do. So again, yeah, I get it, intellectually, that's fine. However, on about 23rd of March 2020, I started to think, hold on. Okay, I get it now. This is what it feels like. It's not just a concept anymore. It's a bit of my reality. And I think this is the reality we are going to be living in for some time. And therefore, what does that mean for you? And what does that mean for organizations and for leaders? We need to be able to operate in this environment and make decisions and choices and do all sorts of things and not be in denial that this is the world we're living in. So that's enough scary stuff, yeah? Everybody had enough of that? Let's think about building our gladiators. What do gladiators need? What do they do? So this is something that I find really useful. I can see some of you smiling, you might recognize this. So this is the ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept, and it's about the reason for being. Yeah? There's 4 dimensions. Can you do what you love? Can you do what you're good at? Can you do what you can be paid for? That's useful. And can you do what the world needs? And the concept here is, if you can get that sweet spot in the middle, you've got a real reason for being and you're really enjoying it and it's working. Now, what I think is quite interesting is when you look at the other bits here and see the overlap. So the very obvious ones, you're good at it and you love it, it's a passion. You love it and the world needs it, it's a mission. The world needs it and you can be paid for it, there's your vocation, and you're good at it and paid for it, a profession. And I think many of us could plot ourselves maybe in one of those. And then the other ones that are there, what happens if you love something and you're good at it and the world needs it, but you're not being paid for it? Yeah? So you feel very fulfilled, but you may not have wealth. What happens if you love it and need it and it's paid for? It can be, but you're not actually that good at it. Well, you can do it, but you've got that bit of imposter syndrome maybe going on all the time. What happens if you're really good at it and paid for it and need it, but you don't love it? I mean, how many people are in this position when they go to work now? This is a lot of my coaching clients, this is real. We have these discussions a lot. It doesn't bring you joy. So how do you find something that really brings you joy and hits those other boxes? And then the last one, which one have we not done? You love it, the world needs it, and you can be paid for it? No, we've done that one. Which one? Shout out. You love it, you're good at it, you're paid for it, but the world doesn't need it. So you might be handsomely paid, but you feel a bit useless. You're not contributing. So think about that and think about where you would put yourself. And if you're not buying in the middle, think about what needs to happen to help you get there. Another dot I want to give you is the concept of the dip. Seth Godin talked about that. It's a great small book that I recommend everybody treats themselves to. And what it tells us, this concept is if there's something worthwhile doing, there's always a dip. Yeah? So this is where you're putting in effort, it's going quite well, and then suddenly there's a dip. And this is the bit where people want to quit or go home or go to sleep or cry. There's lots of different responses. But actually, this is the worst time to quit. You want to push through and get through that dip and keep going, and that's where you're going to go. The effort will give you the return. So how I use this is, first of all, when you're in a dip, that's good. You found the dip. Yeah, I know. Reframe, definitely. So keep going, get through the dip, and help others do that. And also expect a dip. So I now get suspicious if there's not a dip. Yeah. So we've got these gladiators. They're good at going through dips. They're working out what they want to do. One of the gifts I would like to give to them is about resilience. I do think this is something that will help us all. And resilience is that sort of hard to describe quality. You know, when you get knocked down or knocked off course, you're able to get back on there, keep your eyes on the prize, and keep going. And some people call it bounce back ability. But I think in the world we're living in today, we need a bit more bounce forward ability, and sort of roll with it and bounce and go forward. And my champion for bouncing is, of course, Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. Life is not about how fast you can run or how high you can climb, but how well you bounce. And this is what resilience will give you. It will help you be flexible in your planning and withstand shocks, because we're in a VUCA world, so we don't know what's coming at us. It'll help you adapt to change and keep your eyes on the goal, and when you get knocked off course, be able to find another route. It'll help you anticipate risk and hopefully minimize it or negate it, and it will help you protect your weak spots. So I think these are all things that are useful to us. And for those of you that want to look in a bit more into resilience, I can highly recommend that you look at this. It's from the Centre of Creative Leadership. And it's another four-circle Venn diagram. I am quite partial to them. And you will see there are 8 resilience practices. This is from a paper. If you go to the website, you can read it. And it's really practical. Again, the engineer in me comes out, like, will it go? Will it work? And so it looks at physical, mental, emotional, and your social dimensions. And I think we really saw this come to life during our many lockdowns. Did we lose contact with people? Were we getting exercise, going out for a walk? Were we savouring what we really had? And a bit of mindfulness. And you can nearly even do a bit of a sense check and go, am I ticking those, or is there a bit of a gap, and would that help me? So definitely check that out if you want to know more about that. And then a final few thoughts for you. So, what is the last thing you do before you go to bed at night? Is it by any chance charge your phone? Yeah. Would you dare go to bed without charging your phone? No. Has anybody got the charger with them in the room today just in case their phone goes up? Okay, so we know about checking batteries, yeah? We know how important that is. And so I want you to check your own battery. I want you to check your own energy level. Are you great? Or good? Are you a bit, I'm okay? Or are you struggling and really running on empty? And this can change day to day. And again, it connects with the resilience. What if you're on an empty or you're feeling a bit what would need to happen to help you recharge your battery? And then my final point today, and this is my new personal mantra that I'm desperately trying to live by and not yet, reframe, succeeding, but I will. When things aren't adding up in your life, start subtracting. How many of us put something else on, do something more, try a new thing, plus all the other stuff we're doing. And how many of us have started going, well, I don't need to do that, and I'll stop doing this. And haven't done that in a long time, don't need to do that again. And any good strategy is as much about what you're not going to do as about what you are going to do. So here's another challenge for you. Think about this, and think about if things aren't adding up in your life, what are you going to subtract? Thank you very much.